Well, the White House has banned a transgender person after they went topless on the White House lawn at a Pride event over the weekend. The White House says that this person cannot come to any future events and that what they did was inappropriate and disrespectful. This is interesting. We did not think the White House would speak out about this, but it was. I'm going to show you some of it. We're going to blur it. Definitely not appropriate for being in the White House. But I wonder, does this mean that maybe now we can talk about Ezra Miller's behavior? Now that we can talk about transgender people in a critical way and treat them like human beings?
I hope so.
Instead of only activists. We're going to get to that. So here's the story. The Biden administration is taking flack for a big gay pride event over the weekend. Now here's how the White House was decorated for the event. And here is a still image of some transgender influencers partying at that event. The person in the middle, that is the only one that was punished as far as we know. It's biological male that goes by the name of Rose Montoya. So first about the flag. This is something that means a lot of things to a lot of people, obviously, the American flag. It's a symbol of whatever it is that you value about America. This is why we have a law about how you are allowed to display that flag. It's called the U.S. National Flag Code. It became law in 1942. Here's from the Department of Defense website. Says that when displaying the U.S. flag with other flags, the U.S. flag comes first and is centered in the middle of a flag on display. In addition, the U.S. flag must be placed higher than other flags unless other national flags are present. In that case, the U.S. flag will be the same height. Well, obviously, this is a violation of that rule. Take a look again at how the U.S. flag, again, it's not supposed to flank other flags, and it must be flown higher.
Yeah, not the most prominent one above the podium is now this flag instead of the United States flag.
Yes.
And by the way, on Veterans Day, you'll notice on Veterans Day, there were no flags hung. Mm-hmm. Think about that for a second. So Pride Day, this whole big Pride event, they can hang up all these flags and put up a gay Pride flag. But on Veterans Day, nothing.
And you notice if we could just leave the image up a little bit longer, they used the LGB flag that has been co-opted by gender ideology. It used to be just a rainbow, but in the last few years, this baby shower colors of pink and blue to symbolize gender ideology are sort of invading the flag.
It does. It looks like it's, well, the chevron there at the top, right? Right in the middle is that chevron that's now... It's like sticking in there. It's the trans chevron.
I do think it's an accurate description of how, trans rights have sort of usurped actual gay rights because they are conflicting things. We've talked about this many times.
But also at the heart of it, just think about the rainbow has been co-opted. Like I see a big movement online. They're saying, take back the rainbow as well.
For Skittles?
I don't know. I mean, a rainbow's a rainbow. Like, it's caused by the prism of light, light hitting a prism of water vapor particles after, a rainstorm, the way it hits, right? I don't know exact science behind it. My 4-year-old could probably...
It's the refraction.
Yes, the refraction of light. Yeah, they might be Giant song. Roy G. Biv is a colorful... Anyway, take back the rainbow.
Okay. Yes. So, if we want to do this with our American flag, we have to change the law. We have to agree that we don't think this law is okay anymore, and we should agree on that, right? We should not just violate the law when it comes to the flag law. This is not a decision that just should be changed because we feel like it. Now let's talk about the boobs. It is legal to go topless in Washington, D.C., but here is the video with blurred boobs that went viral of toplessness. I want to say probably one of the first times toplessness on the White House lawn. I'd have to do a little history digging on that, but watch anyway.
Clinton.
Welcome to the White House.
Thank you.
Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride Year. Happy Pride Life.
Yeah!
Transgender children.
You are beautiful.
You are heard.
You belong.
You are understood.
You are loved.
And you belong. One of the bravest and most inspiring people I've ever known.
I mean, you're welcome.
Good folks.
Can we take a little video? Hi, Mr. President. It is an honor. Trans rights are human rights. Oh, it's a video. Oh, it's a video.
All right. So, they went on to post a rebuttal to this, Rose Montoya, and we're going to look at that in a second, saying that this is legal because it is legal to be topless in Washington, D.C., but sexual acts are not allowed in Washington, D.C. I would also say it's interesting that Montoya is the only one being punished here because the two people that were flanking Montoya were trans-identified biological females who had surgically removed their breasts and were showing off their scars. And also, I can't think of a better word for this. It's super uncomfortable. They were jiggling their own boobs as they were getting jiggy with it. They were fondling themselves, right? Mm-hmm. So why only why only the one that has prosthetic boobs gets punished when the other ones who had removed their removed their full boobs, mm-hmm. but still were fondling and jiggling and topless? Why only punish one thing? Can you think of any rationale behind this?
No, but this is something that I've been grappling with for a long time. When I was thinking about it, I just sorry. This is a great discussion. This is the kind of something I can really sink my teeth into.
I suppose, but I do think that it's equally inappropriate. I'm just as upset about the absent boobs, I guess we're going to call them, the cut off boob fondling, as I am about the prosthetic boob fondling.
Well, do you remember that New York City protest a few months ago?
Yeah.
I know Philip does because he has to blur that stuff for us. So he has a memory bank of like blurred boob memory bank that he's got to go through in his Rolodex. And there were biological women, right? There were biological men who were like also fondling and jiggling. And they were naked, and like the local news blurred that out. And then the other one they did, and it was like a weird, like, well, what do we blur? Because if they're biological male, but then they just get okay, now they've got these big fake ones. But if it's a biological woman and they've cut them off, we should be now they're pretending that they're a man. So
is it appropriate to be fondling your boobs of any gender on the White House lawn? I think is an appropriate question.
I mean, if Hunter Biden is there, or it's part of the Clinton administration, probably. I mean, that's probably
okay. I brought along this
not.
picture to show you because this was when I interviewed Joe Biden in the White House in 2014, I believe it was 2013, and I was so upset that I had forgot to pack pantyhose, these nylons that I'm wearing there, that I ran to CVS before this because I was like, I cannot be in the White House with bare legs. That's super inappropriate. And so I ran out because I had just packed in a rush because I couldn't find my pantyhose, and I bought them. So I guess I need not have bothered because I had this idea that decorum was really appropriate in the nation's capital. I guess that maybe is not the case.
No, apparently
anymore.
You could have gone topless.
I guess I didn't even need to, go topless. Now, here's a statement from the White House that came along just a few hours ago. They said this behavior is inappropriate and disrespectful for any event at the White House. It is not reflective of the event we hosted to celebrate LGBTQI+ families or other hundreds of guests who were in attendance. Individuals in this video will not be invited to future events. So it does seem like it's not just Rose Montoya, but the others as well, who were also fondling non-breasts, the amputated breasts, I guess.
Yeah.
You shouldn't fondle your amputated breasts or your prosthetic breasts.
That's what I've always said.
Right. Now, here is how Montoya responded to this controversy about the topless video, saying that this just shows that I am a real woman. Watch.
And I fully support the movement in freeing the nipple, because why is my chest now deemed inappropriate or illegal when I show it off? However, before coming out as trans, it was not. All you're doing is affirming that I am a woman. All you're doing is saying that trans women are women, because for some reason, people like to sexualize women's bodies and say that they are inappropriate. My trans masculine friends were showing off their top surgery scars and living in joy, and I wanted to join them. And because it is perfectly within the law in Washington, D.C., I decided to join them and cover my nipples just to play it safe.
Okay. As a real woman, I just want to say it is not safe to pull your boobs out in public.
Especially in Washington, D.C.
This is something most women know.
Crime capital, like one of the crime capitals.
Yeah. Let me just say this, to, any young girls or people who are new to womanhood, that's not safe.
And where in that person's brain do they think it's okay to go to a White House event where the vetting process and to strip naked? Like who thinks to do that?
I don't
what's
know
going through
that person.
What's going through your messed up brain that you think that that's appropriate? I
don't know. Again, Montoya is saying I saw trans masculine people who had pulled off their shirt and said, "Look at my amputations," right? And so they thought that looks fun. Let me show you my prosthesis. It's like a yin and yang, I suppose.
Someone says in the chat, mental illness should be treated, not glorified. Steve Green says, not glorified.
Well, that's interesting. And so this had me thinking about the whole Ezra Miller bit, because this week the Flash movie comes out and Ezra Miller has been kept out of all press around the Flash. He can't go on the late night talk shows. He can't go on Howard Stern. He's not allowed to really talk to anybody because he has done some really, truly questionable things as of late. And so here is how the premiere of The Flash went yesterday. Ezra Miller does identify as non-binary, but Variety covered The Flash premiere last night, which had Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck and all of the other Flash stars. But this is the first time they've let him out, kind of like a dog in a cage. Take a look at how they have spun it. Here's a list of all of the things that he's done just in the last 2 or 3 years, like a felony burglary. He's been accused of grooming young kids. He was choking someone outside a bar. He freaked out at a cop in Hawaii who was trying to arrest him, and the cop apologized because he said he used the wrong pronouns. That's been a lot. So you can imagine him going on Jimmy Fallon to talk about the movie. It'd be very disingenuous to be like, how have things been lately, right? And not ask about...
No, Jimmy Fallon would do that. He would not ask a tough question. So that Jimmy Fallon would be the best place for him to go.
True.
He'd have him do a singing skit with him or something. They do a little singing song.
Or he would just try and see if he could run faster than the Flash. He would do something really stupid like that. Yeah.
That's why all of the marketing has been around Batman and Michael Keaton.
Well, right. Take a look at what Variety reports here is that the studio announced ahead of time that Miller would not be let out, basically, that the Los Angeles premiere would be Miller's lone publicity commitment for the film. They did let him walk the red carpet, but he couldn't stand for traditional on-camera and print interviews. When you walk up and you're like, "What are you wearing tonight?" None of that. Is he like a caged dog cannot be let out. So it's interesting now that that makes it awkward for everybody, having one person on a tight leash that's the star of the film, and they just decided they're gonna still go with this. It's an interesting contradiction. We can't talk critically about people who are transgendered because we want to show support for them. Does that help anybody to sort of coddle them like that and not talk about the real issues around them? Meanwhile, Johnny Depp for his divorce trial, lost Pirates of the Caribbean. They say maybe they'll put him back in that role. We're not sure. It's just this contradiction of what we can talk about and what we can't. Most of the time, the sort of leftist media and politicians are trying not to be critical of anyone who is even remotely associated with gender ideology. So for these White House topless flashers to be punished is maybe a step.
Thank you so much for watching this segment here at Redacted. We are live every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, trying to share the stories that the mainstream media will not cover. You should also come over and join our community of Redacted Rebels over at redacted.inc. That's our private locals community where we can share exclusive content that we simply cannot share here on YouTube. Come over and join the rebellion together right now by going to redacted.inc. We'll see you next time.